my good friend Senator Bam, this is an issue very close to me. When I was elected as Congressman of Taguig Pateros in 1998, ang aming shifting was 6 to 10, 10 to 2, 2 to 6. Tatlong shift. At that time, umabot ng 60. I think may classroom pa na almost 70. No? So yung shifting wasn't even 40 per classroom. And maraming schools walang tubig yung banyo. So nagkaka-UTI yung ibang teachers. Because of rapid urbanization, yung dating may basketball court, may plaza, may volleyball court, may I don't know if some schools had katulad sa private school na may mga dance studio, di ba? Or hindi pa masyado naman yung computerization noon. So I remember my campaign was I was telling parents, kahit maputikan ang paa ng mga anak natin, pwedeng hugasan yung paa. Pero kapag hindi na nakapag-aral, lalo kung maaga nag-asawa, mahirap bumalik sa school. Kakunti pa yung back-to-school programs noon. It's funny kasi nga, hugas pa kasi flood control din ang problema noon, putik. In Lower Taguig kasi doon, it used to be flooded very much. No? So during that time, 27 years ago, hindi mabango o automatic sa tao na mag-prioritize sa education. During that time, you had to convince that it's better than roads, kahit aspaltong kalye, better than waiting shed, basketball courts, etc. Kasi nga, especially in the very poor areas, these are areas that were proclaimed during the presidential election. No? So fast forward, during the presidency of your first cousin, mahal nating kabatch namin ni Senator Cheese, ng dalawang naging Senate President Mig Subiri and Senate President Cheese Escudero, kabatch namin si President Pinoy. And halos na fill yung gap since the EDSA revolution, which your auntie naman did something very good, which is to give free high school. People forget that before the EDSA revolution, may bayad yung high school. Kaya yung mga politiko noon may scholarship sa high school, kahit notebooks, etc. Ang problema, hindi sumapat ang pondo or hindi na ilagay ang pondo for the additional classrooms. That's why during the first year of President Ramos, there was a study that many grade 6 graduating students could not read. And then nagkaroon ng issue whether quietly ang DepEd ay nagmamas promotion. No, this is all on the record. I think it's already on the internet, especially with AI. But several reports to. That's why nga yung unang EDCOM, very basic doon. Ito yung naging problema. The world was pressuring us na mag K-12, and there were only, I think, 2 or 3 countries na hindi nag K-12. But I think there are 3 or 4. But 2 of those 4 had very good educational institutions. I mean, yung system nila were very good. But na-pressure tayo. I remember Senator Ralph Recto, who's Executive Secretary now, was saying, you need 250 billion a year from government, but 250 billion from yung bulsa ng parents to add kindergarten and the 2 grades. Okay. Nagdagdag ng kindergarten, medyo brinaso ni Brother Arminion in the sense that wala namang malaking pondo for classrooms. Nagkagulo. So the DepEd, the mayors, the regional directors had to find classrooms. Pero since half day, nagawa. But nung yung K-12 na, nagka-problema na. And then nagka-bridging programs, di ba? So because walang magiging incoming freshmen, maraming universities nagtanggap ng senior high. And it was a little bit an easy, what you call this, bridging or for them. Kasi basically, instead of first-year college, ginawa nilang senior high, di ba? Ang problema, may income. So yung iba, nagustuhan na. Kasi nga, may voucher yon. Tapos yung ibang high school naman, for example, sa amin, let's say Signal Village National High School, wala na talagang space eh. At that time, we weren't making 7-story, 10-story classrooms. So ang naging problema, baka hindi ka graduate sa high school, saan ka nag-umpisa? And that's part of, although may mga transferees, di ba? But that's part of of growing up, di ba? Kung Lasalista ka, dun ka, or Atenista ka, taga St. Jude, taga whatever high school you are, di ba? Upper Bicutan National High School. Parang kung hindi from elementary, from high school, at that time kasi martial law until FVR, hindi lahat ng barangay may high school. Pero, sorry, most places had elementary schools where you can walk to, but hindi high school. So, yung kaklase mo ng high school is not necessarily yung kaklase mo ng elementary school, di ba? And then, it's a new beginning kasi doon ka nagdadalaga, doon ka nagbibinata, di ba? But yun nga, nagkahiwalay ngayon. And usually, iba standards. Sometimes better, sometimes worse. So it was, to be fair to President Pinoy, until his last day, they were really putting in the funds and everything. And to be fair to President Duterte, he was convinced by Secretary Liling not to scrap the K-12. Until the pandemic, medyo okay tayo. But three things happened during the pandemic. One, yung mga private schools hindi na rin kinaya, nag-close. So dumoble yung, so not only the normal population growth, di ba? But also yung from public lumipat from private to public. That's why in Taguig, dinagdagan pa namin yung voucher para hindi mag-close down yung mga private kasi problema din natin. Some people will say, anong pakialam natin sa private? Private yun. Hindi. Whether it's health or education, there should be a healthy mix between, di ba, the public and the private, no? So, and I'm not talking about the La Salles and Ateneos and San Agustin's and St. Jude's. I'm talking about big and small schools, from Christian schools, yung parochial schools.
Yes.
Parochial schools of the Catholic Church also give very good education, pero tinamaan din sila kasi kahit papaano may konting gastos yon, completely libre sa high school. Okay. The second thing that happened is that, of course, na-realize din nila kasi nga nung nagkaroon ng internet learning, maraming rural areas, wala namang internet, wala namang gadget yung mga bata. Then they realized that in highly urbanized cities, hindi lang libre, may Apple laboratory, may computer laboratory, aircon yung mga classroom. So, lalong lumipat sa mga highly urbanized areas, di ba? The other thing that happened is that nahuli yung mga bata kasi konting ulan, wala nang pasok eh. I mean, I see both sides, but if you look at the number of days na walang pasok ngayon, so, ang mismo na nagsabi ng statistics na to ay ang EDCOM, and I don't think anyone disputed it. Yung dapat 12.9 years of education sa K-12, ang actual lang is 7.5. So, forma over substance. So, we're telling the world, trust the Philippine education because we have 13 years of education. But actually, in reality, it's only 7.5 years. Para lang tayong private school na grade 7 plus 0.5. Para tayong hanggang first year high school lang. No? So that's why I laud your bill. But ang question ko, one step backward. If we were discussing now the state of education and not just classroom, that's my first question. Hindi ba ang tunay na solusyon ay tignan yung K-12?
Mr. President, kasama yan. If you remember, on our first week, my privilege speech, there was a 7-point agenda to address our education crisis, including classrooms, nutrition, and of course, stuntedness is one of your main advocacies, Mr. President. We talked about internet connection, support for our teachers, employability, and the curriculum, and K-12. And I committed to Senator Estrada that when we get back in January, we're going to have a hearing regarding K-12, and we will hear all of the proposals, left, right, and center. Abolition, modification, going optional. We will hear all of these suggestions, Mr. President, and do our best to come to a solution. Because I agree with you, Mr. President, in a previous interpolation, we talked about the failure of the K-12 system and how our grade 12 graduates are still not employable. Yun po kasi yung pinakapangako ng K-12. Pag graduate ka ng grade 12, di mo kailangan magkolehiyo, pwede ka na magtrabaho. And the employability of our grade 12 graduates, unfortunately, is really low. Napakababa po. So, I think we all agree there are problems in the grade 11, grade 12 system. We need to address them. And the proper hearing, Mr. President, and with the Committee on Basic Education, and with EDCOM, which you are also a member, I think we'll be able to come to a better solution po going into next year.
I appreciate the gentleman's effort, and I know you're coming in from a break. You weren't in the Senate for a couple of years. But I will disagree with you that we're addressing the problem. Because from my point of view, we're evading the problem. There are only two solutions to this. Pondohan ng tama or tanggalan ng 1 or 2 years. So even under this program, and ngayon, I hope hindi mag-stall yung BICAM, and I think all of us naman don't want a reenacted budget. So we're all confident that cooler minds and really having a good governance but relevant, effective budget is a must. But even with the 2026 budget, and even with this law, assuming everyone follows this, and even if LGUs realign their funds for this, the soonest na may mararamdaman tayo is 2 to 3 years from now. And mararamdaman pa lang yon. So kumbaga sa lagnat na 40 o 39, bababa lang yan ng 38.5. Hindi mawawala yung lagnat, no? So the most immediate is simple. Pondohan natin ng tama yung K-12 or tanggalan natin ng 1 or 2 years, di ba? So I remember I went up to you once and said na, bro, habang hindi natin to dinidesisyonan, it's like a dike. Tama ka, pagdating na Bam Aquino, ang daming tulo nung dike. Pero ang ginagawa natin, law after law, nagdadagdag lang tayo ng daliri para ilagay doon sa mga butas ng dike, di ba? Pero wala talagang, ang solusyon talaga, either yung panggastos para walang tulo yung dike, or bawasan ng tubig yung dike para hindi mag-overflow. No?
Yes.
So I understand this is better than doing nothing. And when I say we are not, I include us because my whole of government. But ako, I'm ready now. Whether the decision is tanggalin 1 year, whether tanggalin 2 years. So has your committee done the computation? If we take out senior high, gaano karaming classrooms ang ma-free up natin? And instead of 7 years, at 35B a year for 7 years?
More, Mr. President. More like 90 billion a year.
So we need,
for 7 years.
Right now, I know you've stated it a number of times, but para dun sa mga nakikinig na lang ngayon. So how much do we need for how many years to close the gap?
90 billion a year for 6 years, Mr. President. We're now at 65 billion. So kung 65 billion, it's going to be 7 years.
Okay.
Meron tayong 166,000 gap, but every year, we have buildings which are condemned. We have an increasing population. May mga classrooms tayong nasisira dahil sa bagyo at earthquake.
Yeah.
And if you put all of that together, Mr. President, it's roughly about 39,000
Yes.
classrooms per year. Now, lahat po ng grade level is more or less equally distributed. So if you take out one grade level, Mr. President, that's divided by 12. No? So yun po yung masisave natin. Roughly about 12 or 15,000 classrooms if we take out one grade level, Mr. President.
Yeah. So let me drill down that point. No? In the rural areas, wala tayong problema masyado sa classroom in the sense that walang shifting doon. Meaning, 7 to 3 or 8 to 4, ang problema natin doon yung facilities, textbooks, computers, internet, di ba? Pero classroom, hindi. Kasi nakakapasok sila na buong araw.
Depende rin sa definition ng rural, Mr. President. So if this is out of Metro Manila, they still need classrooms. But of course, the further you get out, the more land there is.
Well, in
Iba rin, Mr.
in the
President.
statistics that were given to me by EDCOM, ang 2 and 3 shift is in the highly urbanized,
Yes.
di ba?
Yes.
And nagko-compound yung problema doon because dati mahal ang building, ngayon mahal na yung lupa. and mas mahal kung may nakatayo na doon. And then, may konting problema sa expropriating. Nasa internet lang, nasa dyaryo a few days ago na yung issue sa Baguio na COA is saying na mahal ang pagkabili ni Mayor Magalong at ng Baguio City sa isang ano. I understand the predicament of mayors eh. Kasi usually yung assessed value mo, napakababa pa sa zonal, and then yung may-ari, kahit sa zonal, so for example, if there's 5,000 square, and I say, Mr. Aquino, how much do you want to sell it? Then you tell me na, boss, yung katabi ko kakabenta lang 70. Okay na sa akin 60-65 dahil school. Pag tinignan yung assessed value, yung sa table, 20 mil.
Yes.
Pag sa zonal, minsan lumalapit, pero depende kung gaano ka-updated, minsan 50. So pag binayad mo yung 65 na hinihingi niya, ikaw pa makakasuhan. Di ba? So that's one thing I'll ask later on na do we address that in the bill. But so it's not as simple as when it was in 1998, which is ang daming lupa, wala lang pera para sa classroom.
No, Mr. President. Land is definitely a problem, Mr. President. But for this year, ang laki po ng gap, 166,000. For this year, what we've allotted for about 30,000 classrooms, that will probably go to the schools where there's already available land, condemned buildings, condemned classrooms that need to be replaced. So palagay ko, Mr. President, case-to-case basis, but most of the ones who will receive classrooms this year, maybe hindi pa ganyang kalaki yung problema sa lupa. Once we get to the third or fourth year, Mr. President, dyan na mas magiging seryoso po yung problema.
I appreciate your wanting to be precise kaya yung definition ng rural. I will rephrase it, di ba? Obviously, doon sa mga one shift na hindi lumalampas ng 50 sa loob ng isang classroom,
Yes.
wala ang problema masyado sa classroom.
Yes, Mr. President.
Diba? Kasi just by the name shortage. But doon sa 2 shift, lalo na sa 3 shifts, diba na 4 hours na lang sila sa isang araw, may problema tayo.
We also have, Mr. President, mga one shift pero kulang na talaga yung classroom nila. So nagka-classroom na po sila sa covered courts, nagka-classroom na sa hinahati nila yung classroom into 2. There was one area, Mr. President, na napuntahan ko sa Quezon, sa gitna ng 2 building, nilagyan nila ng bubong, ginawa nilang classroom. So
That's why I qualified it na walang shift or one shift, pero hindi lumalampas ng 50 sa isang classroom, di ba? Kasi
Yes.
pag lumampas na, yung sinabi mo, hinahati,
Yes,
nasa
Mr.
labas and everything. Okay. But ang pinag-uusapan natin, Mr. Chairman, tama po ba, Mr. President? Yung palang basic classroom, ha? Hindi
Yes.
pa natin pinag-uusapan laboratories, computer science labs, computer labs, auditoriums, you know, everything that makes the best of our private schools effective and relevant. Hindi mo basta-basta mahanap ngayon sa public school yon.
yes, Mr. President, to be specific, what we're funding are the classrooms, the common area in a building, which is the corridor, and the restroom, Mr. President.
So you will agree with me, Mr. President, that even assuming we get a presidential and congressional guarantee that we will triple, we will do 270 billion a year for the next 3-4 years, it's a major part of fixing our education. It's a major part kasi foundational siya, may classroom ka. But then lulutang yung ibang problema na yung ibang private school may TV na, may projectors, yung di ba it's supposed to be parang techbook din eh. Ngayon ginawa na lang 2 ang
Tracking.
yung track, di ba? When we passed this law, we were sold the idea na katulad sa US. So pag sinabing halimbawa automotive, meron schools na high school pa lang, basic automotive, may equipment, tapos baka may driving school pa doon. Pag sinabing pananahe, may tela,
May sewing machine.
may lecturers, etc. Di ba? Pag sinabing sports, parang yung national, ang layo ng pangako.
Malayo, Mr.
Sa-
President. And if I may, Mr. President, mas simple pa yung problema. It's not even the facilities, it's the teachers. Kahit gusto mo ng automotive, wala ka namang instructor na kaya magturo ng automotive. Kahit gusto mo ng sewing, wala ka namang teacher na kaya magturo nun. There was one case, Mr. President, na yung school, kailangan ng baking, kailangan ng hospitality, yung sa hotel, kailangan ng cooking, at kailangan ng barista. Wala ho silang mahanap na instructor, Mr. President. They were offering 4 courses. They had to hire one person na lahat ng 4, dapat alam niya. So, nung tinanong ko po yung tao, sabi sa akin, Senator, I'm really barista ako. Yung iba, tumitingin na lang ako sa YouTube kung anong gagawin ko. So, even the problem of instructors, Mr. President, that's a very basic problem for K-12, Mr. President.
Yes. But half of that problem is not created by government. Diba? For example, yung kulang ng nurses, hindi gobyerno natin ang nag-create nun because nga malaki ang sweldo abroad. Tapos katulad sa US, pwede mo pandalin pamilya mo. But in terms of instructors sa technical, half of the problem, gobyerno din gumawa. Bakit? Kasi yung TESDA courses, 25 to 50,000, isa. So kung ikaw yung mga universities, i-offer mo na lang yon, you can pay the instructors very much. Isipin mo, bawat estudyante, 25,000. Meron 50,000. So kung 50 yon, 50,000 times 50, 2.5 million. Samantalang yung mga instructors na iba na yun dapat, kahit sa TESDA, dapat pinasok na natin sa high school. You can see it vis-a-vis the Philippine Science High School. Because they had a different system from the start. I'm not saying na per se it's all about money, pero per capita, I don't know right now, but when we did the K-12 study, parang times 3 o times 4 yung per capita spending for an ordinary student sa DepEd sa doon. So syempre, kung saan mas malaki yung per capita at saan mas malaki yung opportunities mo for personal growth, development, lilipat ka doon. And every time we ask TESDA, akala ko ba kaya nga namin kayo finand at may K-12 para wag na mag-out of school youth. Ngayon may 3-year course na rin yung TESDA. So parang graduate ka na nga ng high school 2 years later or mag-out of school youth ka after the junior high school and then magte-TESDA ka, humaba pa din ang TESDA. And then although may scholarship, lalong nagmahal na dapat sa elementary at high school pa lang, kasi like tayo, panibasa, we went to a private school, yung ating practical arts, tapos sa ibang school, may 1 semester, may 1 quarter, kasi by quarters, mag-exchange ang babae at lalaki, di ba? So like kami, let's say kung basketball, but may 1 quarter lilipat, magba-volleyball kami. Tapos kung practical arts, may 1 quarter, mag-home economics kami. But very basic yon, yung mga electronics na soldering, yung mga craft na yung eggs ay gagawin mong paperweight, di ba? Yung, of course, yung mga drawing for those who want to go to engineering, di ba? But unfortunately, unless you have, we do have wonderful teachers everywhere, but as you said, di ba? If 4 yung tinuturo niya, baka very good siya sa isa, yung dalawa, medyo kinakapa niya lang, di ba? Unless jack of all trades siya.
Yes, Mr. President, that story is to illustrate na even pagdating sa finding instructors, may problema na po yung K-12. And Mr. President, as you know, my position is our educational system is in crisis.
Agree.
And we need different solutions. It just so happened, Mr. President, nauna itong Classroom Acceleration Program kasi nais nating ituon dito sa budget. But definitely, Mr. President, all of these concerns, the committee does take them very seriously. And whether it's finding the right solution for employability, possibly taking out 1 year or modifying or improving the K-12 system, as you know, Mr. President, we're quite serious with tackling all of these issues.
I don't
as we go
doubt
on,
the
Mr.
sincerity, Mr. President. I don't doubt yung sipag. I don't doubt the research work. And you will be here, God willing, until 2031,
Yes, Mr. President.
and then allowed a re-election. I don't know where I will be after 2028. But assuming, for the sake of argument, this passes, assuming nga from 65, gawin pa nating 90, ang problema, 3 years from now, pag nagawa yung buildings, di ba, ang sagot pa rin ng gobyerno, hindi pa rin natin kaya. So the point I want to drive at now is that if we want to solve this, it's not Band-Aid after Band-Aid. This is, for me, this is, how do I put it? Hindi to Band-Aid. So, kumbaga sa napilayan, ito yung cast. Di ba? Pero, or ito bakal para nga magamit na yung napilay. Di ba? But it's not it's not a stem cell or it's not a rebirth or renewal because nga, the problem with fixing the classroom problem, without fixing the private sector, yung pera ng ating mga, yung income ng ating mga mahihirap, and then kung hindi natin sasabayan ng mga instructors at saka facilities, we're setting ourselves up for bigger expectation and then magfe-fail din.
Well, Mr. President.
So the point I want to make is that if we remove 1 or 2 years now, this law that you're making will not only transform from a bandage or yung bakal sa ano, it will transform to a multivitamin that will really get us up. Kasi nga, yung masasave mo iba sa classroom, pwede mo ngayon ilagay pa rin sa education in other parts. Just this one point, no? So, you've been following it. Magkano na ngayon kung today mapapasa ang budget, 1 trillion something ang budget ng education?
1.3 including tertiary, 1.38.
In an ideal situation, anong estimate natin dapat budget ng K-12 to be fully functional talaga?
Mr. President, honestly, yung problema sa K-12 is not just funding. It's really the systems itself.
I agree. But
Meaning, even if we threw money at it right now, Mr. President, kung hindi malinaw yung mga kailangang baguhin, ako, Mr. President, and as you know, as you said, bago tayong pasok dito, before we will fund it, we should agree on the solution. No? And maybe through the hearings, Mr. President, on K-12 next month, in January, mahahanap natin yung solusyon, ponduhan natin. Right now, kasi Mr. President, sa sobrang laki ng problema, and if you notice, even our EDCOM report doesn't really, it just says fix it. It doesn't really prescribe how to fix it. So there are suggestions there. We have other bills on school-to-employment programs. But until we find the right solution, Mr. President, it's hard to peg a number to solve the problem because the solutions themselves are quite many, Mr. President.
Let me respectfully disagree with you because when my wife Lani became mayor sa Taguig, we were second to the last in Metro Manila. Okay, and the formula was simple. We put money first for teachers. The seminars nila and everything ganyan. Okay, second, we made sure na walang excuse yung bata mag-drop out. So binigyan ng uniforme na nakatahi na. 2 pantalon or skirt, 3 pang ibabaw. Then we gave them all notebooks, bag, later on may vanity kit na rin. You put in the pencil, papers, etc. Later on, yung payong, yung shoes, rubber shoes. So there are simple formulas. I agree with you at a certain point. Kahit sinong anak, at a certain point, money doesn't matter. But right now, if we double it to 2 trillion, our educational will go up. Why? Just putting up computer labs. Just putting, so halimbawa, yung ibang mahina yung internet, ang solusyon simple. You put a TV,
Of course.
and naka-mirror dun sa professor. We've tested this sa digital. So my point is, Mr. President, yung EDCOM, kaya hindi na pre-prescribe lahat kasi hindi dahil sa findings sila. Dahil sa atin na nasa gobyerno, ayaw din nating harapin yung katotohanan na K-12 yung problema.